So here we are with edition 4 season 2, the results of, and just a reminder, we have Cavalry, Dukla Smederevo, and yes, I know I'm still pronouncing it wrong, I'm never going to get it right, accept it, sorry, and a bit easier to pronounce, Sunderland. So let's find out. Our qualifier was on 103 before, he is now on 194. So well done, Zany, although not as good this season as last. Hopefully you can make progress next season. To be fair, it probably would have been as good as last if he'd been able to get to the fan confidence, which he didn't quite manage to do, which is understandable. Those of you who don't know this, if you've got to the end of the season but didn't get to the fan confidence, you can still get the points, just not the fan confidence points, so you're missing out on a few points. There is actually news on that to come. So stick with me. At the end of this, I will give a bit more information. So, Division 4 then, with Cavalry. Not great on the submissions front this time, guys. We only had the one. Gruty 164. Everyone else has not submitted. You need to get a move on, guys. Otherwise, you are not going to be permitted to continue in this competition, at least not next time. You'll have to re-qualify in our Probations League. So, Division 3 with Dukla Praha. Taguta, already disqualified. Not sure why he's disqualified. Confused now. I don't know what disqualified means exactly, but we'll find out. Kem did not submit. Pico did not submit. Frankie sadly sacked. And Silver 185. Well, good season that from Silver, I would think. Division 2, Smederevo. Finn has disappeared and has left the server as well, as far as we can see. So I don't know quite what's happened with that. In theory, he's still an admin as well, but he is departed. We then have Bale on 37. It's one of the lowest scores we've had in this competition. He's had a bit of a shocker there, Bale. He's admitted such. Hopefully he will improve next year. Algo up on 99. Warmind 165. Nice big score there, but not the biggest in the competition. White Panther 195. A very good season there in Serbia. So well done, White Panther. You certainly won this season. And then Super League with Sunderland. We have Chris GLT. I wasn't bottom this season. Chris GLT on 109. 127 for me. I was second bottom. So it's not looking good for me, telling you that. Connor, 136. Decent. Aldi getting up to 175. Some very, very impressive scores here for Super League. For Sunderland, sorry. And Vitasoy 208. This is very impressive. I don't know how he's got these scores, but I would imagine there must be a trophy in there somewhere. Anyone know? I mean, I don't know. I think Vitasoy's here, isn't he? Vitasoy, do you want to give us sort of brief details? Did you win anything? You won the league. Goodness me, league. So you did the double. Vitasoy, you're too good at this, mate. It's not fair. So Vitasoy on for 3 in a row, on for the hat trick. He has already told me that he is. He's going to take a break after this one. Hopefully he'll be back, but he's going to take a break after this one, so the streak will end. But it looks like he might be on for 3 in a row here. No, the Carabao Cup doesn't mean anything. That's correct, and it never will either. It's just too complicated to make it worthwhile. And anyway, like top teams don't really care about it anyway. So we have split, as you remember, our final tables into 2 now because we've got so many leagues. And it will stay that way as long as we have this many leagues. Yeah, it's impressive that from Vitasoy, wasn't it? So Division 4 now looks like this. We only have one person submitting, sadly. Rolex, Pinguini, Todge and Cami, you need to get a move on. As you know, there will be penalties that will be applied now. You can't actually be relegated from Division 4, but if there is going to be Division 5, all 4 of you would be in it, as it currently stands. I'm not sure there's going to be, but we will see. But also, like, even 2 seasons, that's going to be a warning. So those 4 people will all be getting a warning at the very least. So just so you're aware. We then have Dukla Praha, where Taguta was in the lead, although not by much from Silver last time. And that has switched because Taguta did not... there should be a 0 on there, but there isn't. Let me just check that I've got that right. I'm pretty sure Taguta didn't get his number in. No, he didn't. So that is correct, except that he's missing the 0 in Taguta's there. But he's still, at the moment, on being promoted. However, there is a rule Remember this, please, guys. There is a rule that you have to submit 2 seasons to be promoted. So as it stands currently, Taguta might finish second but not get promoted. Taguta, you need to get these seasons in, otherwise you're not going to get promoted. So you're going to get, I think you have to get both of the next 2 to be promoted. So just bear that in mind, please. At the moment, you'd actually be relegated, all 4 of you, although how that's going to work with so many people potentially getting relegated, I'm not sure. But in theory, quite a few people are going to be relegated from this league. So bear that in mind, please. We could, in theory, have some seasons where everyone in a division gets promoted. If everyone in Division 4 had submitted this season and several people in Division 3 hadn't, we could have had everyone promoted from Division 4, or at least almost everyone. So just bear that in mind, folks. You need to get these seasons in. As this thing grows, we'll have more and more people who are reliable. So more and more people who don't get those scores in, you will be suffering consequences, including relegation. So please do bear that in mind. So that's Division 3. Division 2 looked like this before. We had White Panther on top by a bit of a distance. And then Warmind, decent amount, well, a lot ahead of Bale. And let's find out. So the top 2 have stayed the same. In fact, very, very similar scores from last season, in fact. But then there's been a switch, although only just, because Algo was only 1 point behind anyway. And Bale now in the relegation zone. So Bale's going to have some work to do to avoid his relegation to Division 3. But as I was saying to him before, in the admins chat, there is plenty of time to go. 2 seasons is more than enough to make up 61 points. I mean, that's what he made up this season. So it's absolutely possible for this to be turned around. And Algo, you will certainly need to get these last 2 seasons submitted at the very least to retain your position if Bale does submit both seasons. And then the Super League. As I said, I had not finished bottom this season, but is that enough to keep me off the bottom in the actual table? Answer, I'm afraid, is no. I am still bottom, and by quite a long way. 39 points behind Chris GLT, and more importantly 40 points behind Connor in that safe zone. But Vitasoy retakes his position at the top of Super League, and looking like he will be the 3-time champion of FMUL. But obviously 2 seasons to go. Aldi can really push him. These 2 have got a bit of a rivalry building up top. I think this is going to be a little bit of a duel for the ages. Because whilst we know that Vitasoy is going to take a break next time, I'm hoping he'll be back and we can have the Vitasoy Aldi fight to the death in future years. But it's good to see such a rivalry really taking shape. I want to see this kind of continuing. And it's one thing I want to do as we grow is to kind of track these kind of rivalries between people. What is the club's relegated player isn't stacked yet? I think it's very unlikely in FM that's going to happen. It's a very good question, actually, Spurs fan. I think my answer is actually pretty simple. You can't get any league points because you're not in the league, but you can get all the other points. You can still get cup points, you can still get board confidence points, you can still get youth points. So I think the answer is if you're not sacked, you can still play. You just don't get any league points. I think that's the answer. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I think that is the answer. You just can't. It's a bit like not being in Europe. You don't get those points. So if you're not in the league, you don't get those points. I don't think it's going to happen very often. I think most people who get relegated will be sacked. But if you get relegated and are not sacked, then you can still get points. Yeah. Right, so that's where we are now, folks. Are there any questions before we call it a night?